Here are 3 child soldiers who fought in 3 of the bloodiest battles of World War II. Number 1. Calvin Graham. What were you doing when you were in the 6th grade? I'm gonna guess probably not fighting for your life in one of the most pivotal battles of World War II. But that's exactly what Calvin Graham was doing when, at the age of 12, he found himself manning an anti-aircraft turret in the Battle of Guadalcanal. But how did this 12-year-old kid from Texas make it all the way to the Pacific Theater? Well, in 1942, life is pretty horrible for young Calvin Graham. His dad had passed away, and his mom remarried this asshole who constantly abuses him. Because of this, he spends most of his time working, selling newspapers, and sleeping at the homes of friends and family to get away from his parents. Because he's out there selling newspapers daily, he sees just how badly things are going for the Allies against the Japanese. Pearl Harbor, followed by the Philippines, Saigon, and Hong Kong, it's one loss after another, and the Japanese Navy seems all but unstoppable. Seeing this, Calvin, like many other young Americans, is filled with the insatiable urge to join the war effort and fight for his country. Just one small problem though, he's only 12 years old. In fact, he's not just 12 years old, he looks like a 12-year-old standing only 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighing around 125 pounds. But he's gonna try to get into the war anyway. He forges his mom's signature and steals a notary stamp and tries to enlist into the US Navy. Surprisingly, the recruiters seem to be willing to turn a blind eye to the fact this was obviously a kid, and he makes it all the way to the physical exam. When it's his turn, the dentist has Calvin open his mouth and discovers that he still has some of his baby teeth. Calvin argues that he's actually 17 and that the dentist doesn't know what he's talking about. The dentist threatens to turn Calvin in if he doesn't leave, but Calvin pulls an Uno reverse and says he knows for a fact that the men the dentist had approved before him were also underage because he knows them from school, and he threatens to turn the dentist in for sending kids to war. Alright, fuck it, you win. And with that, Calvin is shipped off to basic training. He tells his mom he's going off to visit his grandma, and his mom is like, "Okay, whatever," and he goes off to basic. He's there for 6 weeks and is trained as a loader for anti-aircraft guns and is quickly shipped out on the USS South Dakota. The South Dakota makes a beeline into the heart of the Pacific Theater, and it didn't take long for Calvin to find himself in active combat. First, on October 26, 1942, the South Dakota finds itself fighting for her life in the Battle of Santa Cruz. Japanese bombers are relentlessly targeting the USS Enterprise and the ships defending her. The Japanese send wave after wave of bombers at the South Dakota, and she's getting rocked. In one of the bombing runs, the captain of the ship is thrown into a wall and knocked unconscious. All the while, Calvin is out there, bravely helping to man one of the 40mm anti-aircraft guns. As the sun sets, the South Dakota is badly damaged, and 2 of the sailors had died in the fight. But this battle was nothing compared to what was coming next.